Okay, so for this drawing, you could use your drawing paper. We'll try to use it. Another choice though is to use something like this. It's watercolor paper. It will be stiffer and it won't wrinkle like your drawing paper would, but I'll just show you instead of tell you that. Um, We are using wet material, so I don't want to use my paper inside my notepad because I'm going to get the top paper wet and the bottom papers could also get wet and get damaged and wrinkly. So it's really important for this drawing that you tear your paper out of your notepad. So then I have my drawing paper or watercolor paper, my coffee mixture I've made up, and then I have some brushes that I just had laying around the house. You may have to go to the dollar store or Daiso, Walmart. Michael's would be great if you could do that, just to get some brushes. You probably really only need a good small brush. You can't really see that. A good small brush and a flat brush. You only need these two. I have the others just in case. Before we get started, you might also want to have a thing of water to rinse your brushes in and a paper towel. And then I also have an old ice cube tray. We'll see if I'm going to use it or not. So I want to start by testing this coffee mixture to see how dark it is. So I just get my brush. This is just my practice sheet, not my real sheet. I just get my brush and I dip it in. It smells like coffee. Okay, this is going to be a little tricky because when you do brush ink, you do have to wait for it to dry to understand what color it is. So it looks, I want to say like medium dark. That's not real dark. Let's see, can I make it darker by doing another coat? So I think what I'm going to do, so I want different levels of ink. I want dark ink and then medium ink and really light ink in the perfect world. So I'm going to get my ice cube tray and I'm going to pour a little of my ink in one well of my ice cube tray. So I still have a lot in here. I'm trying to turn it on its side so you can see, but that's hard to do. And then I'm going to mix in a tiny, you have to be very careful when you do this. I just want to add a tiny bit of water to this ink. So, okay. I'm hoping this is like half coffee, half water. Let's test it and see. Oh yeah, it's not lighter. Okay, so right now, this was like 2 coats of coffee. This was a rinsed out brush, and that's the watered down ink. And let's see. Again, it's a little frustrating in that you just have to wait for it to dry. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I could make another like really light area here, but I actually feel like this one's pretty light. That's this. Okay, so this is the plan. I'm going to do my drawing, separating the light from the shadow. And then I'll use the lightened out coffee to start the drawing. But once I'm feeling confident, I'll use the regular, not watered down coffee to start developing the shadows. Okay. Okay, for my drawing, I'm going to do, I don't know if you can see it, my old teddy bear. I just have him on a chair with sunlight coming in from the right. So let's set up where we're going to draw. I've torn out 2 pieces of drawing paper and I'm just taping it to, this is a wood board. Because I'm going to be using water media This is different than what we usually work with. So I'm gonna tape the paper down just to, so I don't have to worry about the paper moving, because this is harder than we usually work. What I'm personally going to do now, though, is I'm grabbing my phone. You guys can't see this, but I'm grabbing my phone and I'm taking a quick picture. I am using sunlight, and I'm worried about that sunlight changing. So I'm just using my cell phone to take a couple photos, one far away and one close up. Just in case that light changes, that I have what it was when I first started. Okay, that's all done, and now let's just start drawing. So I think I'm going to have the bear, stuffed animal bear, with on the chair seat, some of that chair seat showing in the perfect world. And I'm using an HB pencil to block this in. It's just how we've always blocked things in that I'm going to try to separate the light from the shadow, things like that. I'm holding the end of the pencil to block it in pretty easily, or pretty simply. I'm sorry I couldn't get it better today. Because I'm working on the ground, it's a little crazy. Okay, next the bear. Now I'm going to put in the chair, or what I see of the chair. And then also some of the chair back. I'm just trying to be pretty light and easy in this one. Trying to move quick before the sunlight changes, but I'm still trying to be really accurate for the path of light and shadow I see. It's already changing. So I'm just trying to put in the areas like what's in light and what's in shadow. My object, he has a slightly different material for his paw, so it does get darker by the end of his paw. So I'm also trying to put that in. And I'm just squinting my eyes to see those areas of light and shadow. Otherwise, it's really difficult. And I'm trying to unify them. So if there's a little bit of shadow at the end of the paw, I'm ignoring it. If it's a medium size of shadow, I'll include it. Okay, so I have the light and shadow drawn on the bear, and now I'm also including the light and shadow on the surrounding areas. So how it falls on that chair. Okay. my drawing when I'm about to start the ink. Okay, I'm getting ready to start, and I'm waiting for this to come into focus. There we go. So I now have my brushes. I have that ink mixture I had made up. I have my water, and then my other ink mixture. I'll try to put them side by side. So basically, this is my watered down ink mixture right here, and this is my regular strength ink mixture. To make it dark, I use it twice. So this there, I think I'm going to start with my watered down mixture on all the shadows. So I'm just using a pretty big brush because I have a lot of surface area to cover, and I'm just putting a wash of it there. Now again, if we were using watercolor paper, this would be way easier, but we're just going to do our best with this paper. Trying to do an even coat. I'm not doing an even coat so well. I think I did it in the wrong mixture, huh? Is that a problem? But I'm just, while it's wet, I'm trying to move it around. This bear, he actually has like reflected light right here in this arm, so that'll eventually look good if I can go back and develop it. Okay, and then he has an edge of shadow that runs down here. So again, I'm just putting a wash, and if the light changes too much for me, I can go back to my picture. I'm trying not to go back to my picture and just use it as it is, but we'll see what happens. Now, once I have all these shadows in, I'm going to want to go back and adjust and make them darker. So for me, like his head, the right side of his head is darker. So I could do another layer of the light coffee, or I could use the full strength coffee. And then you guys will also figure out that we have to deal with edges. So if I get something wet, those edges will soften. But if I want a hard edge, I put that brush on dry paper. So I'm just trying to soften this a little bit by dipping my brush in the regular water. Hard using water media because I don't really know what I'm going to get until that dries. This pads is fine. Switch to my small brush and the coffee. Now in the perfect world, I'd like to reserve part for a highlight. So I'm going to try my best. And then there's this other idea with using wet material or wet media. If it's wet, like what I said before is true, it's going to seep out. So I probably probably should have waited until that area was dry to do his eyeballs. Because I want a crisp edge around it, you know? So I need to be doing that on dry paper. Here, it's okay if it softens and flows out. I just need to get his neck area a little bit darker. So I can use that on wet. And then the inside of his ear should be darker. So let's add in more ink there. He also has this fur texture. I wonder, could I use stroke mark to talk about that? What if I just did like short blobby strokes? Would that kind of imply fur? If it's too dark, that area was too dark, so I rinse my brush. I can move it while the ink or the coffee is workable while it's wet. So I gotta move quick while it's wet. Okay, I'm gonna go back here. Shouldn't pause so much, that dried. Maybe if I wet it a little bit, I can move that out. This is the sign that you're not using watercolor paper. It's coming off on my brush. That's not good news. I'm going to use a slightly bigger brush and just try to darken in this shadow. The paper is kind of starting to do funky things and come off just because it's not meant to hold a lot of water material. So just do your best with this. If you could get a piece of watercolor paper, that'd be great. But if you can't really do that right now, use what you have. I'm just using coffee and our drawing